Fire up your neurons. What's up, nerds? The Sanjanator here with tales from the digital crypt. Tales of creation, connection, collaboration to inspire, uplift, and educate. Digital experiences power our lives, and most people accept the need to step up their digital fluency game in business, government, and society. You hear leaders talking about digital transformation, but digital fluency journey can feel like a bumpy ride for individuals, teams, and organizations. I want to share some patterns with you that I have observed for over a decade as a template for the journey, if you will. Because knowing where you are and the challenges that are appropriate for that step can help you come unstuck and prepare for the next step, thus completing your digital fluency journey successfully. And so the template I present to you is called the hype cycle. It presents the stages through which a digital disruption progresses until it becomes a part of our life. While this hype cycle is usually applied to digital technologies, it is generalizable to any new desirable change, how it establishes and becomes familiar routine. Take the example of parenting, a new and desirable change for many. When a newborn arrives, parents are thrilled. They simply adore their baby. We don't know what the child is capable of. The hype kicks in. The baby may be the next Da Vinci or Einstein. But reality hits. Diapers need changing. The child can accomplish hardly anything independently and demands constant attention. Parents are exhausted. The peak of inflated expectations gives way to the trough of disillusionment. But parents don't give up. Eventually, the child learns to tie shoelaces, brush their teeth, keep their closet well organized, becoming more and more independent. And we become more grounded in what the child can and cannot do. This is the slope of enlightenment. The child goes on to become a responsible adult, takes on a boyfriend or girlfriend, a job, managing self and others as a responsible member of the community. This then is the plateau of productivity. Now let's apply the hype cycle to a digital fluency journey. To do so, we must first understand that mastery of a technical subject has two components, knowledge and know how. How are they different? Think about swimming. You can read up about swimming, watch instructional videos on YouTube. This adds to your knowledge. But all of that goes out the window when you jump into the water. What matters then is know how. So, knowledge is what we know how is how well we can apply it. Most digital fluency initiatives focus on building knowledge in individuals, teams, and the organization. Let's take a closer look. When we learn about software, and we will work off the assumption that when we speak of digital fluency, our focus is the skill to go expediently from information to insights through skillful use of software as a tool to accomplish that. On the digital fluency journey, you start out by learning about data structures, how to shape data to represent it to a computer so the computer can make sense of it. Next, we learn about flow control, what should happen when in a computer program. Then we learn to organize our code better. Think about a startup where the same individual may wear a marketing hat in the morning, an HR hat in the afternoon, a software developer hat in the evening. But as the venture grows, an organization structure appears with teams and individuals in specialized roles. Likewise, as software complexity grows, we learn to organize code or components of the software better with functions and objects. Objects that combine data with functionality in one package. Finally, we learn about patterns. Love may be a four-letter word that makes the world go round. In software, HTTP is a four-letter word that makes the World Wide Web work. In HTTP, the client initiates a request for information, like this chick requesting a pizza from her boyfriend. The server then fulfills the request, serving a web page or a document in response. If the server cannot fulfill the request for any reason, say the client is not authorized, then it responds with a cryptic error code that tells why, as we would expect the gentleman, the dude in the pic. Knowledge of patterns, like HTTP's request response cycle, are key to building any working software. Arriving at this point, which journey takes 3 to 4 months or up to a year, depending on the speed and pace of the learner, learners are often surprised to find how little they can accomplish with all this knowledge that they have acquired. Why? Because coding is easy, as Bill Gates famously said, but building working software is hard. Because the bare bones of knowledge have yet to be fleshed out with the know how of experience and the wisdom that comes with it. What do we apply this knowledge to? So, these are the four A's that I want to talk about. Let's unpack. So, here are the four A's, or five A's if you add the fifth one, align. Let's see what these are one by one. First, acquire. Where do you store data? This requires knowledge of technologies like SQL, which is the language of a type of database called relational database that has been the workhorse of the IT industry for a long time. A more recent phenomenon is the emergence of NoSQL databases that store data in more flexible ways as documents, dictionaries, graphs, as in social network graphs. These have become very popular by virtue of scaling well in a cloud environment. Increasingly, sources on the web make available information through APIs, application programming interfaces, or APIs. It's important to know how to consume APIs to pull data from sources on the web. Second, aggregate. How do you combine data from diverse sources and derive interpretable information from it? Here, technologies in the ETL space, ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. These technologies play a role. Using these technologies to bake in business rules into IT processes that take raw data to interpretable information is key to getting any value from massive piles of data. Third, analyze. Now that we have credible information, what inferences can we draw from it? How do we predict the future? This is the field where algorithms come out to play. This includes traditional statistical modeling approaches, ANOVA, linear regression, multivariate analysis. More recently, the barrier to entry in artificial intelligence or machine learning has lowered so much that people are expected to have at least a passing familiarity with this family of modeling approaches to be able to discuss intelligently, if not do more with it. That brings us to the fourth A, apply. How do we present the analysis to tell compelling stories to decision makers and drive action? Storytelling is an art and a science supported by a set of technologies. Web development, for example, uses HTML to structure content, CSS to style it, and JavaScript to make it interactive. Off the shelf products like Spotfire and Tableau that require no or low coding are also very popular. What holds back digital transformation is often that there are not enough bilinguals, subject matter experts who are competent in data science, and vice versa, data scientists who are knowledgeable about subject matter expertise. This brings us to the fifth and last A, which is align. Align has its own set of technologies, such as wireframe and UML, to communicate between the subject matter and data science. Which brings us to the hype cycle. As we grow our knowledge of a technology, we want to try our hand at tackling problems in any of the four A's. We are full of confidence and want to kill tigers. But then we find there are so many other components involved in delivering a solution. I've listed over a dozen, but there are at least 2 dozen that I haven't touched upon. This can be daunting, even intimidating, and disillusionment can follow. Don't give up. Recognize this is a normal and natural part of the process. This is the time to fill in the missing pieces and carry on, keeping your eyes on the prize. You'll find your sweet spot soon enough, what you can do well and easily, and what else is there that you need to manage. And so, in conclusion, here are my takeaways for individuals, teams, and organizations. Number one, know that there is a process with the 5 stages. Number two, know where you are and what is appropriate for that stage. Number three, know what's coming next and prepare for it. And most of all, remember to enjoy the journey. Because when you push past the trough of disillusionment, you will turn the corner to the slope of enlightenment and ultimately reach the plateau of productivity. Thank you.